Good to have you here. It is 3 and Out on this Thursday. Kevin Thomas, he has been Troop. Glad you're making us a part of your day. We are getting to that time of the year, that time of July, where we are getting into NFL training camps. And there's a lot to talk about with the Atlanta Falcons, Ben. A lot to talk about with the Jacksonville Jaguars. John Shipley, Jaguar Report. He will join us coming up here on the program. We'll talk about all things Jacksonville. As I saw somebody make the tweet, guys can't line up to a microphone fast enough to talk about how bad Urban was compared to Doug Peterson. I go, we love Doug.
I guarantee you, he told them to listen, fellas. I give you guys be careful, but I give you guys a green light because they're gonna ask you, and I don't want it to become what Doug. They won't say anything. I'm gonna let you guys vent, but hopefully you've been in the NFL. Hopefully you went to the school of Bill Belichick interviewing and knowing, hey, say what you want without actually saying what you want. It's a family reunion. We're talking about each other to the person you talk about walk in. So be careful. But I do. But Kevin, you knew they were going to be asked about it.
Absolutely. And we'll talk to Jordan Shipley about that coming up here in just a little bit. Also, the Falcons training camp has opened up. Some early newsmakers there. College football. We're inside a month to go, and there's some real gems for us a month from now. So we'll get to that coming up on the show as well. But Ben, you're looking at the Falcons training camp opening up. Richie Grant, Jalen Hawkins at the safety spot, AJ Terrell, Casey Hayward at the cornerback spot. And again, you talk about trying to find out what's going on with this Falcons defense, Ben, and how do you kind of gauge things early on when obviously you would assume there's not much contact.
Kevin, this is when you find a lot about the thing that there are certain positions that you cannot hide from. If you are a offensive lineman, defensive lineman, you just got to understand that. Well, I mean, this is where we at. You guys we're gonna have to figure out here really quickly, what you have. So O-line, D-line, I just think that when you look at these guys and trying to figure out where this team is gonna go, you have quote if you want a veteran O-line, you have a rookie at defensive end, and you have a quote fifth-year player. And Lorenzo Carter. That's your starting defensive end. A guy that, played 4 years for the school team that drafted him. Now he's on a 1-year deal, and a second-round rookie who had a first-round grade. I just think that when you talking about training camp, I want to know how much information guys can take from OTAs, minicamp, to training camp. All that keying and looking good. No, all that stuff is out the window now, Kevin, because we're close to – this is the dress rehearsal. If you are starting right now, if you are in the starting 11, that's how the regular season is going to look. All you can do right now is either make sure you are one of those starters or you take reps away. What does it mean to be a starter in the National Football League? That means I am the most efficient on the team. I'm the best player we have for this position at this current time through knowing what I'm supposed to do, doing what I'm supposed to do it, doing it at a high level, doing it at a consistent level, and doing it over and over and over again. So Ebiketie, I know he came out and said, I want to go ahead and get the kinks out. I want to go ahead and make the mistakes now.
Sure.
And that shows a lot of maturity because a lot of guys are afraid to make mistakes when you're rookies. Well, he's also a second-round pick, so he get a chance to make those mistakes because he's going to be here. Thank God I was a second-round pick. I don't know if I would have been there because I think sometimes, Kevin, when we get to thinking about the National Football League, there is the ease-in process. They already done it. That's what OTAs are for. That's what rookie minicamp is for. That's what mandatory minicamp is for. Now it's Ebiketie, yeah. What are you supposed to do on this defense? Because it looks like the defense just lines up, right? No. If the offense adjusts, defense got to adjust. They got calls on defense too. Hey, Ebiketie, you going to the strong side. So what side is that? That would be the side where the tight end is. That's the strong side. Lorenzo, you always on the weak side. I want to make sure you always in a position to rush the passer. Or what if it's two tight ends? If Ebiketie go, what if it's two tight ends, coach? If it's two tight ends, pick a side, Ebiketie. Like pick one. So I do think that now, Kevin, though, this Falcons team, they need so many key contributions from very, very young guys. We talking about Richie Grant. Richie Grant is under a lot of pressure. You don't even know Grant played for the Falcons last year. Like, you just don't. And the harshest thing about the National Football League is they pay you to deal with the criticism, both from coaches and fans, mostly from coaches, because coaches are giving you more feedback than criticism. Kevin, outside of Kyle Pitts in 2021, there ain't much to talk about with that 2021 class, and that's top to bottom. Grant, hey, second round pick, man, let's go. I know you got guys, like AJ Terrell and different guys. Deion Jones, what is he gonna be here? Is he not gonna be? Is he gonna be a camp casualty? We'll see. But it's better when you got question marks across the board. You don't want it that way. It's better to have question marks everywhere. But Kevin, the biggest question mark coming out of this camp is gonna be Marcus Mariota. He has not played football in a long time.
At least not significantly. You're right. Yeah.
30 passes in the last 2 years. You can throw 30 passes in a game. So essentially, he's played in a game since 2018. Yeah. So with that, how does he really look? Obviously, he's a starter because of default and what you gave him. Desmond Ridder. Hey, no Josh Rosen, no Felipe Franks. You the guy number 2. So you got to develop your starter. Got to develop your backup. You got to see what you got in the O-line, D-line. You got to see what you got because Marlon Davidson, second-round pick, not in the starting lineup. That's what people need to be know. He's not there. There's a reason for that. This is his 3rd year in the National Football League. You a second-round pick? This is a time where you're supposed to be trying to make a Pro Bowl, trying to not, the goal is to not make it to the end of your rookie deal or put them in position they got the franchise tag you. But, yeah, Kevin, a lot of question marks coming out of Flowery Branch. We'll see. I be refreshing to see what OD Orlando be saying. But, Kevin, I just think that Arthur Smith, right, wrong, indifferent, right? Because Atlanta is becoming a team that right now maybe head coach is trying to stay away from. Like, dude, I don't know if I want Atlanta to be my first head coaching job because ain't no Matty Ice, ain't no Julio, ain't no Roddy White, ain't no Tony Gonzalez. Ain't no good defense. Ain't no Asante Samuels on defense anymore. Even though AJ Terrell is pretty freaking good. So we'll see. But for my money, Kevin, training camp is about fine-tuning. Training camp is about rookies not looking like rookies. Now, if you're the starting lineup, now you're going to make rookie mistakes, but it has to be rookie mistakes that don't cost the team wins, which, what is that being? It's 3rd and 1. They need to get off the field. He jumps offside. So you just gave somebody a free 5 yards. They ain't have to do nothing to get it. It's being able to get a pass rush. Because the one thing I did hear the D-line saying, hey, man, if we can't get consistent pass rushes, that means we're going to have to send 7. That's called blitzing, which exposes who? The back end. So we'll see. But, hey, Kevin, that's what training camp is for, man. When you one of those teams like Atlanta, it's a lot of teams like Atlanta. You're fighting to stay relevant, and you're fighting to not be a bottom feeder. Because I did, not saying I saw Carolina camp. I'm not saying I saw, Baker Mayfield throw a pick and somebody said, blame it on Odell. They blame everything else on Odell. So we'll see, Kevin. But I think that's what training camp is about. As a guy that was on the youngest team in the National Football League 2 years in a row, 2004, 2005, we were the youngest team. And it showed. We won 4 games my rookie year, 5 games my second year. Learning how to win consistently is tough, but hey, man, they pay you. That's my coach say. No excuses, man. We pay you to play football, and we pay you very, very well to play football now.
Defensively, how do you see this Falcons team been like? What do you learn in training camp? Because I know we make fun of the offensive guys like, oh, yeah, you're looking like a baller up here in 7-on-7s, and we're kind of playing loose coverage and not to. How much do you find out about a defense, especially one that has a lot of questions, a lot of holes, like the Falcons? Like, it's one thing to say, oh, Richie Grant's looking good. You also aren't hitting anybody, right? I mean, you're also trying to come up and really go full speed and make a tackle. So when you're less physical, and you kind of said something off the ears, like, no, you're still being physical, but I would say less. If you're being less physical, how much do you find out about a defense that has so many question marks about just that? Are you physical at the point of attack? Can you dominate in the run game? How do you find out what you have when you are in, say, this early period where I don't even know if are you doing thud even at this point?
Some you're doing some. What you learned about is this: when we every play at the end of a play, you stop the play. Where are you? Are you around the ball? Are you making the play? Or are you not even in the screen? That is football. Meaning the first thing they're gonna judge is effort. Are you running to the ball? What does that mean, Ben? I'm on the left side. They throw the ball on the right side. Did I realize, okay, ain't nothing going over here. Let's go. Because why is that? Somebody punches the ball out. Am I there to scoop it up? Somebody misses a tackle. Am I there to make it? Like, that's football. Like, when I was with the Tampa Bay Bucks, they used to show this thing when it was Warren Sapp and Derek Brooks and John Gruden. I want to show y'all something. This is a pursuit drill. All you see is 11 grown men running to the ball. And you thinking, Warren Sapp move it just as fast as Derek Brooks. Derek Brooks move it just as fast as Rondé Barber. Because they know, you go back to that 2002 team, that defense like, bro, we're going to put it on our shoulders. I think for Atlanta, what they lack in ability, they got to make up an effort. A lot. And sometimes that'll actually help you play better. So I think with Atlanta, what you learn on defense is, hey, listen, it's Richard Grant in the backfield directing traffic because you the safety, bro. You still supposed to direct traffic. If you at the D-line position, hey, man, are we getting consistent pressure? Meaning, is Marcus Mariota having to throw it quicker? Is Desmond having to throw it quicker because we would have been there? Now, they're not going to sack him. But when they stop to take, they say, you see your hand right here? Is he throwing it in my hand right there? Because if he just
but you weren't even. I mean, I know that you weren't even there last year when guys were giving full effort. That's what I'm saying. How do you count that when it's?
I think
when it's
Arthur
notepads
Smith,
and
Arthur Smith had to learn. You ain't been in the league long enough to take care of players. You don't have a culture yet. You spent a whole year last season and you have no coach. You have nothing to show for it. If I'm Mike Tomlin, if I'm Andy Reid, whatever they say, I'm gonna do it because they've proven that it works. Andy Reid, you've done it for 2 teams.
right.
Arthur Smith, you handed the ball off to Derrick Henry. So I think that at the end of the day, when we get to talking about what you learn from this defense, Kevin, is, hey, man, what are we going to be known for? Hey, man, we relentless, man. We run to the rock. What you mean? And I got to get all 11 guys to say that every time I ask the guy, man, we run to the ball, man, we relentless. We run to the ball, we relentless. So I do think that for this defense, what you learn really, 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 really quickly is we don't got the horses collectively. But we got things. We got an AJ Terrell, we got a Hayward. We got a Lorenzo Carter. Lorenzo Carter got to do this. I said, Lorenzo, yeah, your shadow should say Ebigite. That's what it should say. What do you mean? Where you go, he goes. Because if you want to be the guy, you better show the young guy. Because guess what? Everybody eats. You don't believe me? Bosa and Khalil Mack, they both eating on the same D-line. So don't give me that. I need to get my money. Well, guess what? If they double teaming you, you better show him how to win. That is football. I wish people just understood that. Hey, man, what do you mean? I am tired as hell. I want to get off the field on third down. I want to get off the field. So, Kevin, if I say, if you're the other D lineman, I'm saying, Kevin, what? They are going to double team me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a game with you. What do you mean? I'm going to do we're going to do a twist. Listen, I am going to hold my guy. Wait 1 sec. That is football. And then when you come off the field, because you got to build trust, man. I got to be able to trust those guys next to him, and they got to be able to trust me. That is
okay. Well, who do you trust on the Falcons defense?
Grady Jarrett.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I trust AJ. I trust Grady. I even trust Hayward that just came over. I trust those guys. But the problem is, Kevin, AJ Terrell, he got to trust. He got to trust. Listen, AJ Terrell got to trust Richard Grant. I got to trust the guy who directly affects my game. So as a tight end, that tackle got to trust me on the run play. So Lorenzo Carter knows, hey, Ebigite, what? You gotta win. Why? Because dude, if you don't, what? Touchdown. Why? Because they're gonna look the AJ side and they're gonna throw it to the other side. So, but you got to build that trust, Kevin, because right, wrong, indifferent. People are out there watching. Y'all the best fitters, y'all the best athletes in the world. Y'all the best players in the world. Ain't a bunch of Pro Bowls going around, but hopefully they understanding that, man, because they don't got to worry about nobody believing in them. Not outside of Flowery Branch. So they don't have to worry about that. Go out there and do the Kevin Thomas. We're going to play the disrespect card.
There we go. Nobody believes in us. Well, you haven't given us a whole lot of reason to here recently. We'll come back. Speaking of news out of Flowery Branch, Falcons did name their starter at quarterback, but how much speaking of belief, how much do you believe in Marcus Mariota? How much can he bring to the table? We'll get to that next. It is 3 and Out on this Thursday. Love to hear from you. Hit us up on Twitter at Pigskin Radio. We are streaming live as well, ESPNCoastal.com on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Go to YouTube, ESPN Coastal on YouTube. You can watch the show live there or after the fact. If you missed any of the show, you can watch it there on YouTube as well. We're coming right back. Who's the guy? And how far can he take the Falcons? We'll hit that next here on 3 and Out. Good to have you back. Here it is, 3 and Out on this Thursday afternoon. I'm Kevin Thomas. He has been John Shipley. Jaguar Report will join us coming up in just a little bit. Ben, Marcus Mariota, Falcons say he's going to be QB1. He's going to be the starter. So I went and did a little digging on Marcus Mariota. I'd love to get your thoughts here as, obviously we knew he was going to be the starter. Desmond Ridder, you said many times on the show, if he plays a lot, Falcons are in trouble because you just don't want to have a rookie come in and be expected to play, contribute, and do that much. All right, last 2 years, Marcus Mariota, last 2 years, I know one of those years was a COVID year, but last 2 years, Marcus Mariota has thrown a total of 30 passes. He was in a backup role with the Las Vegas Raiders. Okay, you understand that. Backup, you're probably coming in to hand the ball off. You're not going to get a whole lot of play time. So in 2 years, you've thrown the ball a total of 30 times, or if math is correct in my brain, you've thrown it about 15 times a year and or the equivalent of one pass attempted per game. A little bit less than that, actually, but you get what I'm saying. He hasn't played more than 7 games in a while, Ben. He last played more than 7 games in 2018. So 2018, you and I were talking about, you sit back, you go, oh, man, 2018, that was 5 seasons ago. Or 4 seasons ago. That's a while. Looking back over the course of his career, he has never played in 16 games, not once. Played in 15 games twice, but never played in more than 16 games. Obviously, the season is now 17 games. He's never played more than 15 in a season. So all that being said, Ben, you have a quarterback who essentially has not played for 2 years. He's been in practice and gone through reps, but live game action has barely played in 2 years. And his track record would suggest if he starts, even if he's good, probably not going to play 16 or 17 games for you. He might, but to this point, he has not done that. So what realistically do you expect to get from Marcus Mariota now that the Falcons have come out and said, look, it's his job. That's where we're starting.
Kevin, I mean, unfortunately for Marcus Mariota, I think you would expect what he's shown. The thing about the National Football League, it doesn't really lie to you that much. I mean, Kevin, I know when when producer Jay was here, used to do the whole nerd stash. This is why you need them. Yeah, you need guys to be like, listen. I know the NFL want to do probabilities, but the league works in possibilities. It's probable that he can go out there and do it, but it's more possible that he's going to do what he's shown. Number one, whoever was a star, Derek Carr shows that Derek Carr is very, 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 very durable.
Sure.
He only threw the ball 30 times last year.
Oh, in the last 2 years combined.
2 years combined. That's almost.
Yeah, I think
that's less. Listen, that's less. That's not even a throw a game.
Ben, I think he was Marcus Mariota was 1 for 2 last year.
Yeah.
So he had 8. So when I say that, he had 28 attempts the year before.
Yeah. So 28.
So technically, he only threw the ball. For real, he only threw the ball 2 times last year.
I will say this: can Marcus Mariota go out there and be lights out? Yes, but and this is the only barometer I give. Michael Vick was out of football 2 years?
Right.
2 years. Now he wasn't a
but
starter.
He was completely out.
Yeah. Completely out. Wasn't a starter when he first came back. Went to the Eagles. Obviously, Andy Reid was able to nurture him. We end up having an MVP caliber season once he started again. The reason why I say it is this: Marcus Mariota, Michael Vick have one thing in common, right? Well, Michael Vick was no 1 overall pick. Marcus Mariota was the 2nd overall pick. They both of them are mobile quarterbacks. Michael Vick had a problem with not playing in 16 games. Sometimes it wasn't because he was injured. His body was just so beat up from all the running. Marcus Mariota is going to learn real quick. Hey, Marcus, I don't know if you're 30 years old yet, but you are closer to 30 than you are 20. So he's going to have to learn how to take care of himself. He's going to have to learn how, hey, if you do pull it down and run it, remember what? Got a lot of tread on them tires, man. You've been out here a long time. It's almost like he got to play to win, but also play to preserve the fact that, Kevin, we need you for as many games as possible. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying that what preserves a player's career and productivity is being cautious as he gets older. I can't play the same way I did. I'm not as fast as I was. I don't jump. I'm not as athletic as I was. So I think with Marcus Mariota, he has to do that because, look,
he's 28, by the way.
He's 28? Okay. Now, Kevin, he's 28 in quarterback years in the NFL, so he's a lot older than that. How do I know? He's never completed 16 games, and that's rookie year as well. Marcus Mariota, they're gonna hopefully run the football. They're gonna hopefully put him in a position where he's not having to they're gonna have to tell him, listen, before you tuck it and run it, think about it. Either throw it away because now it's getting hit. Unnecessary. Now, if you stand in the pocket, that's what they pay you to. People ask, hey, man, why do you give quarterbacks $20 and $30 million a year? Because I'm the only thing that have to stand upright with a 250, 300-pound man barreling down. Name another person that got to do that. They pay me to make the throw. And usually the guy's coming open when my guard just got beat. So I got to throw it and get hit. Well, that's for statues. That's for Tom Brady's of the world. Well, for guys like Marcus Mariota, he's mobile. So basically, you playing into the defense. Defense like, hey, man, force them to take it. Why? Because now we can smack him. Like all that, can't hit a quarterback high, can't hit a quarterback low when he's standing stationary. That goes out the window when he tucks and runs it. He's an equal opportunist then. So he just has to be careful because Kevin, obviously he wants to prove that he belongs still in the league. I get that part. He wants to prove that I'm not the guy for this team moving forward. I'm just the guy currently. I get it. I'm Mr. Right Now. But he has to be careful, though. And what scares me about that being careful, we don't know how the offense is going to look. Like, it's different if Marcus Mariota is in a Tennessee Titan offense with a Derrick Henry. Oh, man, he'll be fine. Why? Hand it off. Do a couple of runs here and there. Throw the ball. Now, when your freaking running back is a freaking receiver, I know what I got at tight end. I don't know what I got at slot. I don't know what I got in the X and the Z. But I do think that Terry Fontenot, the scouting department, I'm pretty sure they did their due diligence. I'm pretty sure what Terry Fontenot do, he's talking to the GM of the Raiders. Say, hey, man, tell me about this dude, right? He's talking to the trainers of the Falcons, talking to the trainer. Hey, man, is he all right? Yeah, man. He ain't got no bone cartilage missing in his ankle, do he? I don't want to. But I think outside of that, Kevin, we have to wait and see. Right.
I went and dug into the stats and I was like, man, I realized he hadn't played that little and, obviously had never finished it. See, you think back to those times where you go back, oh man, he is, when he caught the self pass in Tennessee in the playoffs, you're going, so all that time he never played 16, 17 games. No, that's what I'm saying. But I'm like, so he's not, that makes me feel a little differently.
Yeah.
Looking at him going, because you and I were like, man, you'd really be nice not to have to play Desmond Ridder. Now I don't know that you're going to make it. I'm not saying that because he's not durable. I'm saying that he hasn't thrown that much.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the rust factor?
Mm-hmm.
You're counting on him to hold the offense together. Right?
Yes. Yes.
I don't know if you're counting on him to be the major playmaker, but you are counting on him to hold the offense together. I don't know. I have my concerns. I know why he's named the starter.
Mm-hmm.
I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like more and more we're going to see Desmond Ridder at some point. Just because.
I do think you're going to see Desmond Ridder some. Even if Marcus Mariota, quote, is playing well, because if he's playing well but the game's out of reach, hey, man, give the young guy some snaps. But the thing about Marcus Mariota is going to either prove, because he could be on that, he could be that Ryan Fitzpatrick. Like Ryan Fitzpatrick is a filler. Like Ryan Fitzpatrick going to start out the year like, hey,
yeah, but how difficult is that to accept that? I mean, you're talking about Ryan Fitzpatrick's
I would say this.
You need me to not mess it up, and he understood that.
I would say Marcus Mariota had to come to terms with the fact that I wanted the team that wanted me. Like, man, you could have been a backup quarterback the rest of his career, making good money. I understand, but he said, dude, I was the second over. It's different if I'm a late round draft pick and I just make my career being a starter here and there, but I was the second overall pick. I'm supposed to be still with the Titans. Like, think about the teams that are really, really good. And the teams that are really, really good, they take the guy they drafted. He balls out. They give him a second. They give him a big deal, like a Dak, like a Russell Wilson, and so on and so forth. Russell Wilson just started costing too much money, and the guy just won't stop being good. The thing about Marcus Mariota, dude, you're not with the Titans anymore. Matter of fact, people have forgot you was with the Raiders. So I think with Marcus Mariota is, hey man, I'm trying to just continue my career on a team that wanted me, understanding what my role is, not saying things like I'm not a mentor. You notice, right? Guys that can say that stuff say, I ain't no mentor. That's also Aaron Rodgers saying that, right? I bet you Drew Lock won't say that. I bet you Marcus Mariota won't say. I bet you Jameis Winston won't say, because that's a part of it. Like, if I'm a
You
tight
on
end,
borrowed time, basically.
if I'm a tight end, look, I get drafted by the Titans. Aaron Kenny is the starter. He is the starting tight end. The first person I met when I walked in the facility was Aaron Kenny. He had on a hat. He had on a white polo with some shorts. He gave me his. He didn't give me his cell phone number. He gave me his card. He wrote a cell phone on the back.
Right.
I'm thinking, I said, we got to have cars now. I'm thinking myself, we got to have cars. But this is what I realized, Kevin. He knows that the best man gonna play, but he also knows I've been here 5 years, young pup. So as athletic as you want to be, I've given 5 years. I'm a vet. You're gonna need me. You know how much better that made me mentally, knowing, because it's better that he don't have to now, willingly gives me, what I need from him than to be like,
figure it out.
Because I'm gonna ask questions.
Yeah.
Plus, listen, man, the type of tight end I am ain't the type of tight end EK was, right? EK was a boy in that run game. Mauler. Me, hey, I'm gonna get in the way long enough to that running back there. But we knew but at the same time, that kind of thing was important. But we'll see, Kevin. But Marcus Mariota, he knows what's at stake. I hope he gets it.
And we'll see how he progresses here in camp with the Atlanta Falcons. Speaking of quarterbacks, a lot of folks talking about Trevor Lawrence. Jags early on in camp. We'll talk to John Shipley, Jaguar Report, when we come back here on 3 and Out, Southern Pigskin Radio Network. Good to have you back. Here it is. 3 and Out, Kevin Thomas, Ben Troop. Thanks for making us a part of your day. The NFL training camps are back at it. And the Jaguars, no different, Ben. A lot of question marks about this Jaguars team. We're efforting John Shipley, Jaguar Report, to join us. But Trevor Lawrence, obviously going to receive a lot of scrutiny. 1, you were the number 1 pick 2 years ago. 2, you're done with Urban Meyer. You were with Doug Peterson, who, as we kind of joked, has worked miracles. Won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles, right? He won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles. What can he do with a talent that people, I think, pretty much across the board believe is better than Nick Foles in Trevor Lawrence? How do you think we see that development from what a lot of people think was kind of a wasted rookie season at quarterback?
Well, Kevin, we oh man, stability. I think that the one thing that Trevor Lawrence does not lack is confidence and talent. He has both. That's the hardest thing. The talent part has never ever been the key. It's the confidence. Kevin, we knew that he's going to have to learn how to deal with losing. He's never lost in his life. Didn't lose in high school. Didn't lose in college. He knew going to the number one going to a team like the Jaguars, he was possibly going to be losing some games. He's proven he's not a front runner. He's proven to be a team player, going to bat last year for James Robinson. He's proven to be a guy that's durable, fighting, scratching and clawing to get back into the game. Last year, I just think that sometimes, we just got to see. So for me, I'm looking forward to it. I think what happens is he just has to be a guy that like we got to give him a shot because they gave him weapons, tight end, healthy running back. That's just from the draft,
right?
2 receivers to go along with Marvin Jones, Laviska Shenault, a slot guy that you do a lot with, and a running game. Now we just got to wait and see.
Yeah, I think that is the part that when you read some of the missives coming out about early training camp, Ben, it is okay. Trevor Lawrence looks like it's Trevor Lawrence, and he's got a lot of potential. Travis Etienne looks like he is back and ready to produce. Where's the rest of the playmakers? Where's the rest of the guys that are going to step up? Who else is going to be somebody that the defense goes, yeah, we probably need to pay attention over here? And that's obviously a problem. And I don't know if you're going to find that out in training camp, as you said, Ben, when you're going up against, hey, receivers, we're going to jam you at the line a little bit and try to wrestle for the ball, but we're not going to play like you're going to see, come game time when we're going to be trying to come up and dislodge you from the ball. Who steps up there? I think Etienne is fascinating.
Yeah.
But if you're telling me, I don't care who you are, if you're telling me your best option on any football team is to dump it off to the running back in the passing game, that's not good. Tell me how that worked out in Atlanta last year, right? If you look at it and say, hey, my best option is to drop back and dump it to my running back, that's only going to take you so far.
Yeah. Kevin, for my money, I think it's going to be Evan Ingram. Excuse me, I apologize. I think that sometimes when you start talking about like
even Ben's choked up over the Jaguars offense.
I always love the fact that the tight end get a chance to go out there and because Kevin, the tight end position is the one position that's kind of been lackluster, and I don't know who had the best tight ends in the NFL. I know that's probably Kansas City. The worst was definitely coming out of Jacksonville.
We have found John Shipley, Jaguar Report on SI, joins us here on 3 and Out. John, welcome. How are you?
Hey, doing great. Sorry about that, guys.
Hey, that's all right. Ben and I were just talking about Jacksonville, and I know you had a kind of a thought there from camp. Travis Etienne, who a lot of folks have talked about, looks good, but where's the rest of the weapons? So you're there every day following this team. Where are the weapons there for Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah, no, I think that's the primary question after the first few days of camp is, who else other than Travis Etienne is going to step up? They obviously made some big additions in free agency, and Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Evan Ingram, all that receiver and tight end, but none of those guys has consistently stood out, throughout the camp. I'd say Kirk has definitely been the most impressive of the three, but he's been far from dominant or anything like that. So I think at this point, the Jaguar skill positions, they look improved from last year, but I'm not sure if they look any better than, maybe say average. I'm not sure they have the skill group that can really scare teams right now.
John, when you think about a guy like Christian Kirk, who kind of set off alarms with everybody in free agency because of the deal that he got, you talk about Zay Jones, talk about Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram has been a starter. Christian Kirk has been a third. He's been in a second or third receiver. None of these guys have been headliners. They getting paid like headliners, but you got to play, above kind of like what you're getting paid right now, especially with your Christian Kirk. You say he hasn't looked the part. Do you think it's going to be by, if you think it's going to be like as a group they're going to have to be aware, or do you think somebody can take like that alpha dog role and say, I'm going to be that guy in this passing offense?
I think right now, just knowing the kind of offense they have and the players that they have in that room, that it's more likely to have the kind of offense where, you'll never really know who the primary guy is. It's always going to be somebody with the hot hand or somebody on that specific day. I'm not sure there's going to be, any receiver on the team who is really commanding of a high volume of targets. I would guess that Kirk leads them in targets just because, the one thing he's done well, in training camp, and one thing he's done a lot is, work the underneath part of the field. He looks like he's going to be their primary, third down conversion guy, the guy they go to when they need a catch, no matter what, in high leverage situations. But I'm not sure he's going to be a guy who's just seeing targets all over the place week in and week out. And through the first couple of days of training camp, it definitely does look like they are missing that kind of alpha presence, that receiver.
John Shipley, Jaguar Report, joining us here on 3 and Out. And John, Trevor Lawrence going into year 2. I don't know how you count last year under Urban Meyer, but what do you see from him with Doug Peterson? Is this a guy that, given all the distractions on and off the field last year, could take a huge step forward in quarterback development?
No, I think the potential is definitely there for him to have that second-year leap. I think when you look at a lot of the good young quarterbacks in the NFL, most of them you saw, in the second year is really when they start to come into their own, start to blossom. And I think he has a chance to be, the next person in the long line of those guys. He obviously has a lot to prove after last year. Last year, like you said, it's hard to count it with the Urban Meyer year, but there were also games and instances where, Lawrence could have been better himself. And I think he entered this offseason knowing that. So far, through camp, he had a perfect day on Tuesday. He was 18 of 18 in team drills. He was absolutely flawless. But that was, of course, very early in training camp. Defensive backs aren't going as intense as they were, yesterday or even today. I'd say even yesterday he looked sharp, but today he was 6 of 16 in the red zone. He had a couple of touchdowns. He had 3 touchdowns, but he also had an interception and a few passes that, were a bit high of the receivers. So there are definitely some improvements that he's shown throughout the spring and through this period, but there are also some areas he needs to improve, and the red zone's a big one of those.
John, with so much talk about the offense, rightfully so. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, Zay Jones, Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram. No one's really talking about the defense. And I know that a guy like Travon Walker, right, wrong, and different, and when you're the number 1 overall pick, people consider you, the best player in this recent draft. I know that he's going to have to, be Josh Allen's shadow, because he's going to have to learn the ropes really, really quickly. He's going to play. How has he looked? I know it's sample size this early in camp, but how has he looked?
Yeah, no, you put it perfectly when you said, he's going to be Josh Allen's shadow. I remember when Josh Allen was a rookie, it seemed like he followed Calais Campbell, at every single drill, every part, after and before the game. And it really looks like so far that Allen and Walker have that same kind of relationship. Allen's really embraced being that kind of veteran mentor, and it's hard to find them at any point in practice where they're not together, they're not learning from each other, and they're not helping each other improve. So I think he's definitely going to have that kind of veteran leadership role for Walker, and I think it's important for Walker to have that kind of veteran to show him the ropes, because like you said, he's going to play a lot. They don't take a guy at number 1 overall, even if he is a guy who's seen as like kind of a long-term prospect. They don't take him at number 1 overall and not expect him to play and contribute right away. So he's going to play a lot. He's going to be asked to produce right away. And if he continues working alongside Allen, somebody who was very productive as a rookie, he might be on his way to doing that.
You look at the defense as a whole, John. How good do you think that unit can be?
I think it definitely has its potential. They added players at every level of defense. They added Walker at along the edge, Foley Fatukasi along the defensive line, Devin Lloyd, Chad Muma, Forsade Oluokun at inside linebacker, and then, of course, Darius Williams in the secondary. So the investments are there. There's also the development of some players that, if they take place, will really help the defense elevate. Tyson Campbell, a second-year player out of Georgia, 33rd overall pick last year. He had a tough start to his rookie season, but then ended up finishing really strong, showed a ton of potential. And then through camp, he's been fantastic. He had 2 pass breakups yesterday. He had another nice, really good rep against Zay Jones in the red zone today, where he just basically pinned him to the sideline and erased him on a throw to the corner of the end zone. So I think the potential is definitely there for the defense to, be a top 15 or so unit and take a leap. It's just there is some projection involved because they have a first-year coordinator in Mike Caldwell, and there are some areas where the depth is maybe a little bit shaky, such as that outside linebacker.
John, we a year removed from just, chaos would be putting it lightly when you talk about everything that was going on with the Jaguars team, from Urban Meyer, Chris Doyle, Tim Tebow, the front office, just trying to, Doug Peterson. He could have been the biggest addition of the offseason that's not a player. Talk about just his calming effect, understanding that, understand that these guys are going to get asked about Urban Meyer until they're not asked about it anymore, being able to have a Super Bowl under his belt and to be able to have taken another franchise that we had never seen win a Super Bowl. I know he got a much harder task with Jacksonville, but talk about, just his arrival and how much he's really made it feel like a professional atmosphere.
Yeah, no, I think you're right on the money. I think, when you listen to some of the Jaguars players the last couple of days, Trevor Lawrence, Josh Allen, and you listen to them talking about what Doug Peterson has brought, compared to what they have last year, I think it's a really night and day difference. Josh Allen put it best when he said that he feels like he's now in a professional locker room where the head coach treats them like grown men. And Trevor Lawrence said the other day that Doug Peterson's a head coach who, he really sets the standard, and you don't have to worry about him going off, really the wayward path because, he's setting the standard for how to act, on and off the field. So I think it's a night and day difference. I think you can tell that, players have more energy to them and they're happier. I think the coaching staff's happier. And I think even, not Jaguars, personnel, football ops, employees, that kind of thing, who aren't even players, I think they're happy. I think just a general vibe around training camp this year is much different compared to this point last year.
John Shipley, Jaguar reporter, our guest here on 3 and Out. John, appreciate the time. Thanks so much.
Hey, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
John Shipley joining us here. This is 3 and Out on the Southern Pigskin Radio Network. The Orlando Ledbetter, AJC.com, late add to the show. He'll join us talking about Falcons camp as you've got some early, at least, looks at what the offensive line could look like. Marcus Mariota is going to be the starter. Falcons came out and said that, Ben. So looking forward to see what D. Orlando has to say from Falcons camp.
D. Orlando is my source when it comes to the Falcons. I ain't taking nothing away from anybody else, but D. Orlando keep it a buck, Kevin. You know, it starts out with it look good, and now he's like this. They need to get him out of there. I'm just looking forward to it because D. Orlando, like, look, man, people gonna start holding me account. He got to keep it a buck. I appreciate, like, you know, honest journalism, and D. Orlando about as good as it gets.
Absolutely. So we'll get the 100% skinny on what's going on there at Flowery Branch. We got much more to come. D. Orlando will join us in about 30 minutes. We'll take 3 when we come back as well. It's 3 and Out all across the Southern Pigskin Radio Network. Hit us up on Twitter at Pigskin Radio. We're streaming live, ESPNCoastal.com. Also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Hour 2, 3 and out. Kevin and Ben, glad you are with us here on the show. We'll hear from D. Orlando Ledbetter, AJC.com. Coming up, we'll get the very latest from Falcons camp there in Flowery Branch. We know Marcus Mariota is going to be the starter. How long will that last? What's that offensive line looking like? We know D. Orlando's got a lot of salty opinions about that offensive line and where it should be and where it could be headed and more. So we have the very latest from D. Orlando coming up in just a little bit. But Ben, first, let's take 3 here on 3 and out. All right, take 1. Julio Jones caught a pass from Tom Brady at training camp today. It just looked weird. What players, in your opinion, don't look right? And you can say a lot of them. Some of them, it just takes some getting used to. And you're like, oh, okay. But what players never will look right wearing somebody else's uniform?
Tyreek Hill. I mean, haven't we gotten used to him just with that red and gold? You just got used to him seeing all of a sudden he goes to what? That Miami blue and orange. I gotta say it, man. Julio, come on, man. It's like I respect the fact that you are moving on with your career. I respect the fact that you are definitely ring chasing, as you should. As a person that wore that pewter and red.
You respect the ring chasing?
I do. I do at a certain point, Kevin, because, okay, Julio's like, look, Julio is in the perfect position because he's not, while he can show flashes, he don't got to be the guy anymore. That's Mike Evans. That's Godwin. You know, and plus if anybody can get him there, which is wearing number 85, and he said the number don't make me, I make the number. And, you know, it's just crazy right now. I mean, Chandler Jones being with the Raiders is a little funny because I'm used to Chandler. I mean, obviously Chandler Jones played for the Cardinals and he played for New England, but just to have on that silver and black, it's a little weird. But let's just call it what it is. The weirdest is Matt Ryan. That's the weirdest. We're trying to tiptoe around it, Kevin. I know Kevin like the Colts jerseys. I know some reports coming out of Indy that he running the show up there. It's weird. It's weird having Matty Ice wear anything but that red and black. It just is. And I know it hasn't officially happened yet, but it's weird. He went from, well, I like red and black on the Falcons. I don't necessarily like red and black because, there's another team in the state of Georgia that wears it. But, Kevin, I call it that Kentucky blue, right? And white. Matty Ice, he went from red and black to plain Jane, baby. We just plain Jane around here. We don't need all those colors. It's all about what we do on the field. So give me a Matthew Ryan of the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, that's where I think it's just sports in general. Seeing Jordan wearing the Washington Wizards, that never has looked right to me. Like, I get it happened, but I've kind of erased it from my memory that it actually happened.
I mean, how many posters do they got of Jordan in Washington? Because they're like, listen, man, who y'all best player? John Wall. Don't you ever say it again. No. Right now it's Bradley Beal. I get it, but yeah, Kevin. I mean, Jordan having on. I mean, when you put it like that, you had some guys. Say, I got to go back to these great Atlanta Hawks, man. Like Rasheed Wallace and Carmelo Anthony. Oh, that's right. They didn't play. How long did Rasheed Wallace play for the Hawks? Couple of days, couple of weeks.
I think it was 3 games.
3 games. What he got out of there. I will say this, and I know to watch Randy Moss wear the 84 that I wore with the Titans, that was weird. Like it just because he wasn't himself. He didn't want to play for nobody, but because when he left, when he got let go by New England, he tried a lot of teams. He was with them Titans wearing that 84, and I wore that. But it looked weird on Randy Moss. It just looked weird on him. That two-tone blue, you got to be built for that two-tone.
Only certain guys can wear 84 in Tennessee Titan blue, and if your name's not Ben, take it off.
No.
Take that jersey off.
I'm just saying, Kevin. I mean, Matt Ryan, man, the Indy man, come on.
That will look weird. Again, you've seen it in practice. It kind of feels like a weird dream where you're just like, it's not good. When I see him in a real game wearing the Colts jersey, I'd be like,
I ain't gonna lie, Michael Vick. I ain't gonna lie, when Michael Vick was with the Jets, that was weird as hell. It just was. Like, come on, Mike Vick.
I get it. Moving along, Ben, take 2. NIL always in the news, but Have we found the perfect one? Is Dakotas Crawford, wide receiver from Nebraska, winner of the best NIL deal ever after he signed a deal with a Nebraska-based heating and cooling company? SOS Heating and Cooling announced the deal and said, if anybody wants to know who has the coldest AC, it's the coldest. Dakotas Crawford knows. What is this the best ever NIL deal that we've seen?
Yes. Unless like bumper pool for the Arkansas do like a bumper car type thing. Yes, Kevin. Because this is the thing, right? The coldest comes out. The one, he gets named the coldest. His parents know nothing about NIL. If his parents can see that far into the future,
Oh, yeah.
I have a 3-piece suit waiting for you and I have a flight to Vegas waiting for you. No, Kevin, certain things just make sense. You are a heating and air conditioning company in Nebraska. You're saying, man, how can we get in on this? And the guy in the corner, who they kept saying, not today, not now, not now, not now. He goes, what? What is it? He goes, there's the
wide receiver.
There's a wide receiver that plays for Nebraska. What is his name? His name is Dakotas. They like this. Are you playing with me right now? Like, Kevin, if there's ever been a layup,
I mean,
this is it. Matter of fact, I'll take it a step further. Just say NIL isn't going on.
You should still give him
You
the
still
deal.
got to do something with it, right? What's up? It's the coldest. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to the coldest, man. Hey, shout out to your parents. No. Shout out to everybody that said don't name that boy that. Because everybody don't name that boy that. Thank God he became an incredible player.
The
But
foresight on that one was amazing.
Like there's a track athlete at Florida. His name is Champion Allison. In the recent Worlds, he was the fourth leg of the 4x4. So either America was going to win it with a guy named Champion, or
You're going to be champion in second place.
you see what I'm saying? Like certain times it ain't.
Yeah.
But Kevin, luckily for him, he did bring it home. So Champion is a champion. Shout out to people like Champion. Shout out to the coldest.
Yeah. Dakotas
Hey,
Crawford knows where the
I love
coldest air is.
I'm
right?
loving it.
That's
a
again,
layup.
that's one of those things where it's like you just wake up and go, "Oh, so we can do this." Oh, like you probably couldn't get him on the phone fast. Hey, man, we want to make you a spokesperson for our company.
we have an offer that you cannot
Yes.
say no to.
Like it doesn't make any more. Like you couldn't have it make any more sense than what it does. I saw that
the
today.
coldest.
I was like, now this
That
is
boy cold. That
now,
boy
yeah.
cold.
Now this is a case where NIL just totally makes sense, right?
Yep.
You're literally using my name to help promote your
Yes.
company. At the end of the day, I'd be like, hey, 100%. I think that's the best tie-in we've seen to date in all of this NIL talk. All right, Ben, take 3, and it's always the most important question of the day when we do take 3. Today is National Chili Dog Day. Build me up your chili dog because
Evan?
people get upset.
Evan,
I mean, I'm serious. Like you see people come to blows over chili dog where it's like you put beans on it.
yeah.
You put build me your dog.
All right. I think, as a chili connoisseur, I think good chili doesn't need beans. Like good chili, beef, that's all you need. Good season, you don't need a lot of beans. But I'm gonna put just a little bit of little bit of chili just to nestle my dog right now. Not a lot.
So
just
you're
a
not
little bit.
drowning it in the chili.
I'm not drowning. I'm not drowning. I'm put a little.
That's mistake number 1.
Hold
in my
on,
opinion.
putting my dog. Listen. Let me tell you something.
We haven't even got to
Hold
the
on, I
rest.
guarantee you this. A chili dog is the one food item. It ain't gonna take long. Like it's the one item you might be eating it before you get to the table. That thing is ready. Put it just a little bit. Sit him down right there. Just give you a little pool of chili to sit in. Just a little taste. Then, all right, I'm finna put some more chili on the top. Now I've never did this, Kevin, but I will do this. I like to see the one that got all the onions on the top. Listen, I'm talking about finely chopped onions. I'm talking about, Guy Fieri chop. They chop.
Not the big chunky
No.
one.
Then I'm gonna take that shredded cheese and I'm gonna just put it right there on the top, right? And listen, and I'm not even leaving. I'm not turning it around. I'm not putting it on the plate. I'm doing this. I'm going right
You're
there.
not even waiting for the cheese to melt.
No, Kevin, no, because this is the thing, right? That is the most underrated thing on a chili dog. You do not see. I knew Kevin was gonna say that. I got friends that go, "You got to wait on the cheese to melt." No, you do not. No, that is something. Now, what makes the cheese melt? If the freaking chili is super hot, if it's the chili super hot, that cheese it's gonna come on down in there. Listen, a little pool, hot dog, more chili. Give me my slice, give me my diced up onions, give me my shredded cheese, and we finna get right. I'm talking about, hopefully I done ate it so fast that if somebody else is making me another one, they can make it and just hand it to me. Because I'm saying, Kevin, because this is the thing, right? Hot dogs, cool. You don't play by chili dogs, bro. That's taking it to another level. Because, Kevin, how often chili dogs is one of those items you should eat it more? You just don't.
I understand that.
But that's how
I would, a couple of flaws there. One, I would debate a good chili dog you need to eat with a fork because you put so much on there.
Come on.
The bun has got size.
You're right. You're right.
I know some people are like,
I'm not saying it's going to
just
stay
put
in
a
my
little
hand.
bit. You at least got to fill up the trough. Like, I would prefer like spilling all the way over, but
Are you going to just open up your bun? Just open it up?
Yeah, you got to fill it up.
All right.
You got to have it spilling out of there. You can't just, hey, put me a line down the middle. No. If you're going to put chili on it, put it on there.
So hold on. So are you putting your own chili or you, unfortunately, we're at an event and somebody says, tell me when, and they just dump it.
Yeah, ground that thing and give me a fork. No, but look, so I could take it either way. Beans, no beans. I don't care. As long as it has a good spice to it, I agree. Get you a little mustard on there. I agree. Finely chopped onions. I don't want to have like big. I
don't want the big chunk. Give me the little.
I prefer you just cook it in the chili and it's fine. But mustard, and then 100% do agree with Ben. You got to sprinkle the cheese on top. You got to let it melt a little bit and sprinkle it on there. Don't do the hot nacho Velveeta cheese. None of that.
To you, let me tell you something.
Like, I know people do that thing. Just get a lady some cheese.
That's called being lazy.
Yeah, no. Sprinkle it in.
No. I'm going to say something that Mama B, the mother of BJ Bennett, told him.
Yes.
Certain things are for children. You don't put give me that queso looking cheese. No.
The runny Velveeta, man.
Yeah, man. Like said, the same person that said, yeah, one of the best cheeses, man, that's Velveeta.
That was Brooks Austin. Next time I talk to Brooks, we're gonna have a discussion about how Velveeta doesn't count.
I said, Brooks, listen, we're not doing it. You
you can't do that.
If there is a cheese competition, Velveeta is not invited. You know? Come on.
They're the last ones getting into the party, and they may be on the reserve list. But anyway, or the standby list, excuse me. Yeah, sprinkle the cheese on there. I prefer it overflowing, so you have to eat it with a fork. If not, just do it that way, but you got to fill the trough up with chili. You can't just give me a little slab on top of the dog. No.
We ain't playing with
chili.
Are we
eating
dogs,
a chili dog, or are we eating a dog that you just sprinkle some stuff? No, put the
Kevin
chili
said
on
it's time
there.
to get sloppy, man.
Yes,
it's time. Listen, get out all this cute stuff.
Are we going to do this or are we not? That's all I'm saying.
No. What Kevin is really saying is this: Kevin comes in, everybody's in their chili dog.
The people that say I'm going to put a line of chili down the dog and that's it are the same people that put one slice of cheese on a grilled cheese and call that grilled cheese.
Are you serious?
No. You got to stack it up and make sure it's really gooey, really cheesy.
Let me tell y'all something. If I walk into a function and we have chili dogs, right? If the chili ain't on the sides of your mouth when you're eating it,
you did it wrong.
Yeah,
100%.
all this. You walk around and say, "Are we people? Do we eat chili dogs for real?"
100%.
I want a chili dog to look like you just gave it to a 1-year-old and it's their first time eating. I want it all over them. That's what I want it to look like.
Spill it all over the place. It's all good. National Chili Dog Day. Go enjoy. That's take 3. We do it every day. This time we'll have D. Orlando coming up in about 15 minutes. It is 3 and Out all across the Southern Pigskin Radio Network. Good to have you back, 3 and Out. Kevin and Ben, thanks for making us a part of your day. Ben, we are less than a month away from college football. Today's July 28th, and on August the 27th, we will have college football. I know some of you out there listening this afternoon are getting pumped up. Just me saying the words. August 27th, we got college football back. And we will be entitled to some gems, Ben.
Ooh.
Vandy at Hawaii, Nebraska, Northwestern, Wyoming, Illinois, Charlotte, FAU, UTEP, North Texas. College football is back. Or we could just wait for week 2.
Yeah, we're gonna be waiting week 2. I mean, I mean, the thing is this. I mean, you know, if
We've waited all off season.
Exactly.
We get Vandy, Hawaii.
Exactly. Vandy was like, we finally get a showcase game. It's week 0. It's in Hawaii.
Hey,
I'll
I'll take that. I mean,
Of course. Listen, man. I mean, can we lose? Really? We can. Probably will. But at least we in Hawaii, right? Like, Kevin, look. Sometimes, Kevin, you got to take what you can get, right?
I get it.
I mean, college football, listen, whoever's over that program in the weekend, they saying, look, man, I just want everything to go smooth. I don't want no rain out.
I was going to say, is that work out the kinks
I
so
don't
we
want
can
no
for
delays.
college football?
Listen, we're going to be working, why? Because a week from now, nothing can go wrong. Do you hear me? Like, the stars will be aligning the week. Like, you know, Ohio State, Notre Dame is the next week. Georgia, you know, Oregon is the next week. Florida, Utah, LSU, Florida State. It's like, once again, people, we always go about branding. What do you rather see? Vanderbilt and, I mean, didn't Hawaii used to be the Fighting Rainbows? I know not the Fighting Rainbows now.
Yeah, a long time ago, yeah.
All I'm saying is, Kevin, listen, you got to take what you can get, right? Coach Clark Lee said we are looking to be the best.
Best program in America.
Best program in America.
I can't even say that.
I don't even know what time the game on Hawaii starts. Like, what time does that game start?
I mean, if it's 8 o'clock here, it's got to be 4.
Like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, they're like having breakfast
They're
in
like
football.
4 hours behind California.
Is it that far?
Yeah. It's like, think about this. Think about this. Thank God they got a charter flight. They are going from Nashville to Hawaii. Now, on a regular flight, he'll probably go from Nashville to California, Hawaii. I think California, Hawaii is like another 4-hour flight. So once again, I am at least flying, at the bare minimum, I'm flying 9 hours, like 8-9 hours.
You better win.
You better do something. Hey, listen, fellas, we better find a way to get. Now, I will say this. In a situation like that, because you already know, I would think that if anything, man, you know, you're going to make that, you know, whatever charter that Vanderbilt takes, they might get a bigger one for this one because you got to, everybody.
Yeah.
We got to take everybody. What do you mean? If you know, Nashville media, good luck, because y'all finna be in the back of that plane. But, hey, Kevin, you got to take what you can get. But, hey, it would definitely make us, we're back, but we're like Texas back. We're not like back.
No, I saw that and I was looking at it because I know we wait so long for college football, right? We sit there in the offseason, we're like, hey, media days are here. The countdown is on. Can't wait to see games back. And I know we will, but it's like you get all the build up and the hype for college football. It's Georgia, Oregon. It's Ohio State, Notre Dame. It's I think LSU and Florida State are playing without.
I mean, you got Ohio State, Notre Dame, the first game of the year.
As I say, so you have the huge buildup, and then you realize the actual week that college football starts, it's Vandy, Hawaii, it's Nebraska, Northwestern, which that's a conference game. So it's like you come out of the gate, and it's like there's so much fanfare for the start of college football, and week 0 is just a landmine standing in the way of us getting to college football. And am I going to watch some of these? Probably, but it just doesn't feel safe. I feel like if you're going to build it up, can we just do away with week 0? Like, seriously?
Yeah.
Can we just not do that? Just have a huge opening for college football.
I'll never understand that though. Like, I get people want to have their quote standalone weekends, especially when you're not going to get any once the season starts.
Yeah, if you're UTEP, you're like, hey, can we get prime time for North Texas?
Here, what do you mean? Here you go, hey coach, could I interest you in a week 0? Absolutely. Who we got? UTEP. What? I mean, no. If you're coach, listen.
Put us out there.
You're Clark Lee. You're at Vanderbilt.
Sure.
They say, hey, we're gonna give y'all what we've never given y'all. What is that? Standalone.
I'm trying to see if that's if
Who we
that's
got?
on like big time
Hawaii.
TV. I'm looking it up
Who we
right now.
got? Hawaii.
Keep
Oh,
talking
we got
about.
Hawaii at home? No. Wait. What? Well, the thing about Hawaii is we have to limit their travel because no matter who they play, it's going to be a long ways away. Like, no matter who they play, they can play a bunch of California teams. Washington, Oregon is going to be a long way. So we thought that maybe you guys want to go to Hawaii. Why? Well,
I'm sorry, but it's it's 10:30 at night on CBS Sports Network.
so what I'm saying is, Kevin.
So what we're saying is you're flying way out.
So that's what it is. So
It's
I would
10:30 Eastern. Yeah.
think that since Vanderbilt is in 0, they don't have a game the next week. They don't have a game. So it's like, look, you guys.
If they're playing all the way on the other side of the world, probably not. Yeah.
Yeah, it's essential to like an international game, for the NFL. We're gonna let you guys come out here.
Oh no, Vanderbilt's got to come back.
Oh,
No, they do. They get they get okay. No, they don't. Yes, they are playing. Sorry, they have all the scores listed as week 1. So they play August 27th, and then they don't play again. It looks like until September 10th. So they get a little bit of time. That is better. I think.
I would hope
I will
that you would let
double-check.
the players like enjoy themselves a little bit. I ain't never been to Hawaii. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't never been nowhere. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, if I'm a player and I'm gonna get to go play in Hawaii, all right.
But like I said, college football, especially in the South, we hype it up. It's like, oh, football's back, man. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be Georgia, Oregon. It's going to be no. Well, first off, you got to go Wyoming at Illinois, Duquesne at Florida State, and FAU Charlotte before you can get to the next Saturday of full college football. I just think that to me that is one spot where you look at the week 0 games and either make week 0 huge or just don't do it.
Nope.
Right? Look, I get it. Some of these lower tier schools are like, hey, that's when we can do it. We want to make it work so we can get paid, maybe get a little exposure. Okay. But to me, college football is so that first big Saturday, like when you're like, hey, college football is back, you want to see some big games. And we have that, but we don't want to say the season is here and hype it up and say, and it's headlined by Wyoming, Illinois. Come on, do better. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah. No. What you?
If you're college football as a whole, do away with week 0 and just start it with a big kickoff Saturday. Everybody's starting today.
Yes.
It is amazing. There's 100 games going on between FBS and FCS.
If you want to do it to where you do it kind of like with NCAA basketball when they kick off, they'll go, hey man, we'll start on like
24
night,
hours
Thursday
of
night.
basketball.
We can do that. Hey, we got Wednesday, we got do that because come on, man. Like, yes, and once again, the perception of UTEP and North Texas is not what we see it as. They're gonna be like, y'all don't know what y'all talking about. They're like, cool. But week 0 used to be, Florida played Miami on week 0
right.
like 2 or 3 years ago.
Used to at least have a headliner game.
Yeah.
You don't even have that.
And think about that. If the teams, if the coaches and the players of the teams we talk about saying, what you mean we ain't headliners? Hey, headliners are different things to different people. It is not across the board. But shout out to Clark Lee. Going all the way to Hawaii, you're going to enjoy yourself regardless. But you're going to enjoy yourself even more if you get that dub. Just saying.
What if they don't?
Oh, my God. Listen, all I'm saying is this. I played with the Raiders, and we played the Dolphins.
Right?
Obviously, we lost.
And y'all were chalking that up as a dub.
No. What it is I was like, dude, it's a long flight. Even longer flight when we lose. Well, what do you think we gonna do, bruh? It's rough.
There's a quick look at week 0. Yikes. Of college football. We'll come back. We'll get the very latest from Falcons training camp. Look to check in with D. Orlando Ledbetter, AJC.com. Next, it is 3 and Out on the Southern Pigskin Radio Network. Good to have you back here on 3 and Out. Kevin Thomas, Ben Troop, thanks for making us a part of your day. Falcons training camp there up at Flowery Branch. And we know Marcus Mariota going to be QB1 for the Atlanta Falcons. Here to talk about that and more. Covers the Atlanta Falcons. Does a tremendous job from the AJC.com. D. Orlando Ledbetter joins us. Daryl, welcome. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, Kevin and Ben. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you coming on right out the gate. Falcons named Marcus Mariota their starter. Ben and I were looking at it. 30 attempts in 2 years, hasn't played more than 15 games in a season in his career. What do you think the Falcons are expecting to get here out of Marcus Mariota?
Yeah, they the coach didn't support that report today. He said he's not ready to name the starter, but we all kind of know he's going to be starting, and the quarterback coach kind of jumped the gun on that. But I think we know that he's going to start, and they're going to try to, if they can salvage his career just like the Titans did with Ryan Tannehill over in Tennessee.
D. Orlando, when you think about a guy like Arthur Smith, right? So much talk about the defense and the young D-line led by, Ebigite and Lorenzo Carter. You talk about how is this offense going to look. How has the mood been year 2 of Arthur Smith? Because with so many questions, I think the biggest one is, what do the Atlanta Falcons have in Arthur Smith right now?
Yeah, well, he's supposed to be an offensive, guru genius or, whatever the term is that people like to use. He got a lot of production out of Derrick Henry in Tennessee. And here in Atlanta, he doesn't have that type of bell call back to power the offense. Last year he did a great job of getting the ball to Cordarrelle Patterson and Kyle Pitts. And, that was about it. They were 31st in rushing. The passing was, middle of the pack, but you had an established passer that you couldn't keep upright. So, he's building. He doesn't have the team in here. He doesn't have the players in here that will play the kind of power football he wants to play and run the ball the way they ran it in Tennessee and then throw off of that. So, they're rebuilding, and you kind of got to reserve your full judgment until you get a good football team in here.
So who are the playmakers, Daryl, on this team? Obviously, last year it was Patterson, who was kind of a hybrid guy. Who are the playmakers on this team?
Yeah, you start with Pitts and Patterson, and then you lost a lot last year. With Calvin Ridley being out, and now Russell Gage is gone. So you got to count on the rookie there, Drake London from USC. The kid Brian Edwards, they picked up from the Raiders. He looks like he can make some plays. Lamade Zaccheaus is going to get a shot to be the 4th guy. And then in the backfield, you got Damian Williams coming over from the Bears. He's been a quality backup wherever he's been. And then you want to see if you got something with the rookie 5th-round pick from BYU, Tyler Algier. So that appears to be the cupboard for the weapons right now.
And D. Orlando, when you think about a guy like Drake London, right? Excuse me. I mean, you've seen him now. You've seen him in person. I mean, obviously, being the number 1 receiver taken out of out of those guys that went first round over Olave, over Gary Wilson, and so you've seen him in person. How is he fluid? Is he quick? I know he's tall. How fast is he?
Yeah, he looks good running outside the numbers. I haven't seen him send him on a 9 route yet. So I'm going to take TJ Yates' words that he can get open deep. TJ told me that, hey, he can get open deep. He's got enough speed to do that. So until I see it, I'm leaning on TJ Yates telling me he can do it. That was the questions we had on him coming out. He had a bad ankle, but he ran pretty fast for the Falcons, and they felt that for what they want to do, he was a better fit for them.
The Orlando Ledbetter joining us here, AJC.com. Daryl, I know you've been critical of the Falcons' offensive line and the way they're constructed and some of the misses along that offensive line. What do you think they do well? What do you think they'll succeed at here in 2022?
Yeah, they got to move around some people or get the right people in there because they didn't do nothing well, guys. I mean, they gave up 40 sacks and they were 31st in rushing. So, them are the 2 things you need your offensive line to do is open up some holes and protect the quarterback. So, you gotta. I don't know if Drew Dahlman's an upgrade at center. Can Mayfield get better at left guard? The coach said he had 3 open spots, and then right tackle, who's gonna be the winner over there? They McGary's come back in great shape, and everybody's raving about him being in great health and looking good. So he might be able to hold on to his spot, but we're gonna need him to stop giving up so many sacks. They're going to need him to stop doing that if he's going to be out there and he can maul people and get after people in the run game, which is what they said he was coming out of Washington. We haven't seen that even yet. We knew he was going to struggle against elite speed, but, you got to keep him out of those obvious passing situations. And when you do, you got to send him some help over there. Give him a tight end or a back to help him out over there. And they know that.
When you think about this defense, I mean, I mentioned earlier, we talk about a defensive line that right, wrong, and different. If you play defensive line, for the Atlanta Falcons, you're going to get that moniker of who can be a consistent pass rusher. Can it be individually with Lorenzo Carter or Ebigite, or is it going to be by committee? I'm thinking it's probably going to have to be by committee, D'Orlando, when you think about the fact that there is no lead dog right now that is really going to scare any offensive line going up against this young defensive line.
Yeah, no doubt. They're going to need some interior push, too. I don't want to put too much pressure on the outside guys. But, if you got somebody pushing up the middle along with Grady Jarrett, that's got to be Marlon Davidson or Tyquan Graham. If they can get back there, they're going to be singled up because everybody's going to slant to Grady. You saw where the Lions put 3 people on Grady. And at some point, the other guys got to get there. So, the nose tackle, we don't know who that's going to be, Rush. But the other defensive end in the 3-4 Graham or Davidson, or if they get beat out, somebody else. And then on the outside, it's got to be Audie Ogundeji, Lorenzo Carter, D'Angelo Malone, the Western Kentucky kid, and then Arnold Ebikute kid from Penn State. He was taken in the 2nd round. So those are your top 4 edge rushers, and hopefully, maybe we'll see somebody find their way to the quarterback a little bit more than we've seen in recent years.
Back in today, Richie Grant, Jalen Hawkins at safety, AJ Terrell, and Casey Hayward at corner. How much do you read into that this early in camp? Is that what they're thinking could be the starting defensive backfield? What do you take from that here early?
Yeah, that's the expectation, is that's going to be the starting lineup. Jalen's been out there. He's been splitting time. Richie was at the nickelback and special teams last year. Now he's just learning that one spot. He did work a lot with Deron Harmon after practice. So he told me today that he's comfortable and ready to go. So he said, I'm out there talking my smack. I know where I'm supposed to be, and so that's who he was as advertised. But he had to learn the defense, and they took a year with him to teach it to him, and instead of just throwing him out there cold last year. So he said he's ready to go, and he's a confident guy. So I'm going to take his word that he's ready to go back there and do the thing.
D'Orlando, when you think about Terry Fontenot, not dealing with a lot of money, obviously in the last couple of off seasons, was only able to sign the 2021 draft class when you got rid of Julio, kind of in a similar situation this year. With the money that he had to work with, what grade would you give him, even though we haven't seen him on the field yet? What grade would you give him being able to put together a roster?
Well, I think they've done a good job of finding bottom of the barrel guys, on the cheap because, they didn't have any money. Kids like Anthony Rush came in and made some plays for him last year. The only suspect thing for me is I don't know why they haven't touched the offensive line in 2 years. They've done a good job of rebuilding the wide receiving core. I like some of the veterans they brought in here, Auden Tate, Amir Bird, guys that have gotten open in the league before, Geronimo Allison, so they don't look like misfits out there. I mean, you don't have a top-end guy like a Julio or Ridley yet, but you do have the tight end. So they're building from the outside in, and, I'm an inside-out guy. So, I want to be able to come out there and just beat you up with my line and then get after your quarterback. And so far, this team is not that. And Terry's coming from the States, and that's how they were built down there. And so we're still waiting to see what the master plan is for the trenches.
The Orlando Ledbetter, AJC.com, joining us here on 3 and Out. And Daryl Arthur Smith, obviously last year, new regime, new way of doing things. Didn't play pretty much. If you were a star player, you didn't really play in the preseason. Do you think he learned from that? Is he going to follow that same script? Because they seemingly got off to a sluggish start from an execution standpoint. Do you expect we'll see at least a little bit of some of the guys that are kind of your star players in the spring? And do you think maybe he would do it a little differently than he did it last year?
Yeah, he's going a different direction. He's already told us that. The two scrimmages are point to that. The two joint scrimmages. You got, they scrimmaged Miami last year, then didn't play the people in the game. So they're going to scrimmage the Jets up in New York here in a couple weeks, and after the Detroit game, going to scrimmage Jacksonville for 2 practices down here before the game. So starters are going to play certainly in those first 2 games, maybe just a quarter, maybe just a little bit, maybe go to halftime that second game. And they might even play them in the third game because there's a big break between August the 27th, the last game, and the opener on September the 11th. You kind of got an open window. So there's the opportunity to play a lot more. He's going to do it. We don't know exactly how much, who's going to get the first half and the second half, but they only been playing 2 quarterbacks, so they're not going to send Felipe out there. They want to see if he can play tight end.
Wow, and even with that, Orlando, I mean, Marcus Mariota, obviously he's going to be the starter, even if the quarterback's coach, whomever jumped the gun. Desmond Ridder is going to get some playing time. Because Marcus Mariota hasn't played meaningful snaps since 2018, he's never had a full season that he was healthy. What is the likelihood that Desmond Ridder is going to get meaningful playing time this year?
Oh, Ben, it's a great I don't know what the odds are. I put him at 98%. It's a great chance is what I'm trying to say. Look at the schedule. I mean, they could start 2-5 and Mariota might come up with a hamstring or something, that can't really tell, his back or something. And that's been his history. His former coaches have told me that. He's not a leader, doesn't have the reputation of being a leader that's going to put the team on his back, whereas Desmond has that quality. So, maybe he's learned on how to lead a team from his days watching Derek Carr. But, the coaches tell me you don't learn from watching. You learn from getting out there on the field. So I fully expect him to be a bridge to Ridder. About the 8th, 9th game, I fully expect Desmond to be out there and for them to get a full evaluation of him on the second half of the season before they go into the draft and see if they got to go for the Alabama kid or the Ohio State kid if they're up that high.
The Orlando Ledbetter, our guest here on 3 and Out. Daryl, we appreciate the time. Thanks so much.
Sure, no problem, guys. Take care. Thanks for having me.
Always. The Orlando Ledbetter joining us. Great coverage of the Atlanta Falcons there, AJC.com. And Ben, you talked about the quarterback play. Said, it's happening. Like, you will see Desmond Ridder out there, and kind of some scathing reviews there of Marcus Mariota saying, look, he's not been a guy that puts a team on his back, at least at the professional level. What's kind of your thought when you hear that?
These previous regimes that he's been with, Titans and the Raiders, they don't have any reason to lie about him. The thing about professional courtesy that Terry Fontenot is going to get from the other GMs, they're going to say, look, man, we're going to tell you everything you know about him. Because obviously, especially with the Raiders, you're going to take him off our hands, take him off our payroll. Good player, good athlete, not a leader. A guy that's very, very injury prone. And it kind of goes, Kevin, with why we didn't know about the leader part. The injury prone, I mean, look at never had a full season. Hasn't played meaningful snaps since 2018. So I think what happens is, what make you think all of a sudden they're just going to become something different? Kevin, we always talk about this. As a man gets older, he settles into who he is, not what he's hoping to become. No, he's trying his best to not become his dad. That's what we're doing. I'm not saying that Marcus Mariota is a long way from from his dad. But what I'm saying is, haven't seen him in a while. And Kevin, let's just go back to when he got it. When they said Marcus Mariota just got signed, we was like, it wasn't like people were like, yes. It was like, Marcus Mariota? Like we know of him, we know what he's capable of doing, but it doesn't really seem like, you know, the most confident if you're a Falcons fan. So I think what happens is, think about it. One guy is a starter because he's been there. The other guy is not a starter yet because he doesn't know it yet. One guy isn't a leader who's been there. The other guy who just got there is, you know, the moniker, the sad part about whatever position you play, whatever comes with the position, first guy in, last guy to leave, that stuff that goes with, you know, I mean, freaking Kyler Murray's doing a press conference to talk about his 4 hours mandatory. Because no matter what, that's what people are going to think. Do you don't watch no film? And Kevin, in the break, I'm going to show you, what the Twitter sphere did to show like how Kyler Murray is going to do watching film.
Yeah.
It is going to crack you up. Because I'm just telling you, you don't want to get the persona of not doing what, quote, the character traits of a quarterback are, because, you know, you don't want that on your resume.
Certainly good to have D. Orlando with us. We'll come back with more 3 and Out on the Southern Pigskin Radio Network. Good to be back here with you on Three and Out. Busy final hour upcoming here on the show. We'll look at the Atlanta Falcons, obviously, with what we just chatted about with the Orlando Ledbetter college football, the real week one. We'll talk about that. Not week 0, in which we're looking at Vandy and Hawaii. The real week 1, which we got to wait a little bit longer for. Not quite a month away from that. We'll look at those games upcoming as well, Ben. So getting excited about the start of the football season. Falcons back at it. D. Orlando trying to paint as positive a picture, I think, as he could. There with what's happening at Falcons camp. We'll break that down. We come back. It is 3 and Out on the Southern Pigskin Radio Network. Good to have you back. Here it is, 3 and Out. Kevin Thomas, Ben Troop, thanks for making us a part of your day. Final hour of the show. We'll hear from John Shipley, Jaguar Report, coming up in just a little bit. Falcons back at it. We just heard from D. Orlando Ledbetter. Ben, you talked about Marcus Mariota. He said the head guy, that being Arthur Smith, kind of backed off on saying Marcus Mariota was the starter, even though the QB's coach kind of slipped it out there that, oh, yeah, he's the guy. What do you kind of make of that Marcus Mariota as the starter? Going ahead and naming it now. I mean, we all know what's going to happen, right? There's no chance Desmond Ridder, if he had a flawless camp, was going to be the starter.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the quarterback's coach is like, look, man, that just shows that the quarterback's coach ain't really into to the semantics,
Hey,
Kevin.
Here's what not to say to the media. Don't say we have the.
Kevin, but haven't we got beyond it at this point? Like,
You would
hold
think
on.
so.
Let me get this straight. So we know he is, like media, fans, onlookers. You know he is as a coaching staff, quarterback's coach. Just don't say it. Yeah, man, because we don't want to discourage Desmond Ridder. Really? You don't think Desmond Ridder know that Marcus Mariota is the starter? Here's a thought. First team offense. Who's going to run out there? Marcus.
Yeah.
Unless you say, Marcus, let Desmond go.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the part I don't get. You think it bothers Desmond Ridder that he's the backup? He's in the league. Josh Rosen, gone. Felipe Franks got to play another position. They're making it room for him to even be able to play if need be. Just don't say it. Like the quarterback's coach gets done, and then Arthur Smith says, come here, what? SID goes, man, coach want to see you. Why? Did you just tell them he's the guy? Well, he is the guy. Is he? Coach, what are you talking about? You just gave him $8 million a year. And that's a part of football I never understand, right? Like, like you said, if Desmond Ridder went out there and was lights out, maybe we can be like, but come on, man. Like, let me tell you something. If Desmond Ridder is your opening day starter and there's nothing wrong with Marcus Mariota, it's a problem. No, it is. Like, because Kevin, I know he's being compared to, you're getting Russell Wilson vibes.
And we love those comparisons, of course.
I'm sick of the outliers, but no. Marcus Mariota is the guy. The cat's out the bag. Captain Obvious. He's somewhere in Flowery Branch saying, "What are we doing?"
I know. I like how Daryl kind of had to walk. He's like, "Well, the head coach." Like, come on, we all kind of figured that out. But a lot of news about the defense. Richie Grant, Jalen Hawkins back there at safety, H.A. Terrell, Casey Hayward at corners. We asked Daryl, "Hey, that's pretty much going to be the starting defensive back." He's like, "Yeah, that's what they want it to be." And to me, Ben, that's one of those things where Richie Grant, year 2, second round pick, you better be a starter, right? Like that is what you want. And I think he's part of that group, Marlon Davidson and others being where you say, all right, how good are you at draft evaluation? Arthur Smith, Terry Fontenot. So far, you've had your number 1 pick. He panned out all right.
Mm-hmm.
I say all right. Most yards, but 1 touchdown.
Yep.
Outside of that, your draft picks really didn't do a whole lot. This year, you could have taken any wide receiver you wanted to. You took a guy that's known for being tall and physical, not necessarily a guy that's going to blow you away with speed over the top. Could have had anybody. You took him. Need some of these guys to play significant roles. And I'm not saying they need to be all pro as a rookie, but you need some of these guys to be a bigger contributor than what we've seen thus far. I think when you start evaluating these draft classes.
Richie Grant doesn't lack confidence. Richie Grant is a guy that said that he needed a full year to really understand the offense. They kind of didn't throw him.
I appreciate that, but he didn't really do much at all last year.
So the one thing about it is this. They say he don't lack confidence. They say he's a guy that, look, he's very, very confident in his ability, what he's able to do, things of that nature. Kevin, he's going to have to prove it, right? Like, this is the thing about the NFL, people. This is the thing about pro sports. He's a rookie. So what? He gets paid to play football.
Yeah.
Right? Now, you're right, Kevin. I'm not asking him to be a Pro Bowler, all pro. I'm asking him to be a solid starter. Because that's all you're really asking anybody to be in the league. I want to say nothing cheap, nothing deep. Be the ninth man in the box. Make sure you control the airways. Get guys lined up. Fly around. That is safety position. A.J. Terrell solidified. Casey Hayward used to be a Pro Bowler. I'm not really worried about the cornerback positions. But Ryan, Richie, I'm sorry. It's great that you have confidence, and you're going to have to prove it because, Kevin, like you said, Kyle Pitts showed us You could be a stat compiler. Yeah. What about the? But let's talk about the elephant in the room. Why don't you want to talk about end zone, man? That's what I want to talk about.
There wasn't much to talk about.
And that's what I'm
as
saying.
far as
It's
that
almost
goes.
like Kyle Pitts realized, hey man, they're gonna let you eat between these numbers, but the 20s, they're gonna let you eat. Yeah. What about the 20-yard line in? Let's watch your highlight tape. Oh, that's
What's
it.
that?
Because
No, I
that
get
is
it.
football. That is not harsh. You've never scored a touchdown in the States in the pros. And you had the, quote, greatest statistical season we've ever seen from a tight end.
As a rookie.
As a rookie.
Yeah.
Just saying. All I'm saying is, got to find a way to get some
Yeah,
production.
a lot of guys looking to try to help out on that offensive side of the phone ball. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to AC. AC, what's up?
Good afternoon. Can you guys hear me?
We can.
Thank you so much for taking my call. I have a quick question. Julio Jones going to the Tampa Bay Bucks, that makes them an automatic Super Bowl champion next, or he's going to teach Tom Brady how to choke a 25-point lead. You guys think about that? And Mr. Ben, come on, man. You look pretty, but you got to shave that beard, my brother. Thanks for taking my call.
I like how AC always trying to. Is he gonna blow the 25-point lead? AC, let me tell you something. AC, you better hope the Falcons never win a Super Duper because I'm gonna make sure you have to put on Atlanta Falcons jersey and do the dirty bird.
Yeah, he will.
But does that make the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
They were already, yeah.
No. Now, does it make them more intriguing? Yes, because they got Tom Terrific, because they got Kyle Rudolph, because they got Mike Evans, because they got Godwin, because they got Fournette. But Julio, once again,
They're a Super Bowl
Moneyball,
contender because of TB12.
point blank period.
I mean, that's
like I know how we want to give it to everybody else. Point blank period. You know, I don't know. Listen. I've been to the city of Tampa recently, and these fans be walking around with their chest out, like, "Yeah, man, we going back." Sit down. Just sit down.
But to be fair,
Yeah,
he was the best quarterback in the league last
he
year.
was. No. Tom Terrific.
There's
Listen, you have to make up stuff about it. Like we talk about Tom Brady, like he's not the oldest player I think in the NFL. We talk about Tom Brady like he get drafted in 2000. I mean, what are we doing? Like, come on, man. Like Tom Brady is that dude. Tom Brady now, Kevin, is doing what LeBron is doing. I'll leave when you guys are better than me. Y'all not better than me. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, he's doing commercials, getting out of his car with a wife beater on, a tank top on, tucked in. Russell Wilson, you know, he got every quarterback now saying, let's ride. If I see another quarterback in college, JT Daniels, let's ride. Let's ride. Because Russell Wilson, like, let's ride what? Russell Wilson, say something else. Kyler Murray is doing press conferences talking about the media is making me look like a joke. No.
I mean, to
you're
be
not
fair,
watching tape.
JT Daniels is got a lot of experience in riding from California to
lying.
Georgia, riding
He
from
ain't
Georgia to
lying.
West Virginia.
Boy, every flight he get on is free. Boy, you've been there so much. All the freaking fly miles. I'm just saying.
Anyways,
But to answer your question, AC, are they a player? Are they a two? Yeah, because they got Tom Brady. So of course they are a playoff contender. And let's keep it another book. They're in the NFC South. So it's not like their trek to get to the playoffs is, I don't know, the road less traveled. They got to deal with Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota, and Baker Mayfield. I'm just saying, like, we need to stop this. Like, think about it. All these guys are in their 20s. Baker Mayfield, what, 24, 25? I think Marcus Mariota and Jameis were 28, 29.
They're 28, yeah.
Them boys still going to Tom Brady camp in the summer. What we talking about, man? Yes, yes, they are a Super Bowl contender. But hey, man, it's just hard watching Julio with that pewter on, man. Julio wants to win the ring, but he wants to play Atlanta twice. That's what he wants.
Possibly, but I mean, I think you're seeing him do what we saw Gronk do, Antonio Brown do, Leonard Fournette, which is, hey, man,
Ndamukong Suh,
if I can hitch my wagon to Tom Brady and get a ring, I don't care what anybody says at that point, right? I mean, a ring is a ring.
It is. And they're the first team to host and win the Super Bowl. Who did it next year? That'll be the Rams. Right? Who had to beat them to get to the Super Bowl? That'll be the Rams. Who reloaded like nobody's business? That would be the Rams. The Rams are the NFC team to beat right now until proven otherwise. But Tom Brady's saying, give me another shot at him, though. What? Give me another shot at him. Let's see. But AC, I see you throwing in at the end. You know, maybe they'll blow a 25-point lead. All right, okay, all right.
I don't know. I mean, if you're digging at the Falcons, I don't know they'll have a 25-point lead.
Now the kicker would
this
be.
year.
Now the kicker would be if it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Indianapolis Colts in the Super Bowl, and then Matt Ryan wins with the Colts. Now that would really make me mad. But
wow, you know what? Until you just said that, I didn't even think about that as a possibility. Now, oh my,
that would just.
If Matt Ryan is in the Super Bowl with the Colts and they're playing Tom
Brady throws the pass to Julio Jones to win it, and it gets knocked down, and the game's over. We just predicted these things.
What if? No.
Oh my God.
What if the Colts? What if the Colts beat the Bucs in the Super Bowl 28-3?
Oh my! Oh, Kevin, I'm telling you.
I'm not saying that's going to happen, but
huh?
I'm not saying that's going to happen.
What if it's I don't know, like Arizona, like Arizona versus like Arizona versus like Miami. And Kyler Murray suspended for the first half because he ain't do his 4 hours.
He didn't do his homework.
That's embarrassing. I've never heard that in my life.
You have the press conference. Kyler will not be playing.
Kyler will not be playing.
First half, he is grounded because he did not do his homework.
The street lights came on and he wasn't in the house.
Yes, he tried to say the dog ate it,
but he doesn't have a dog.
That would be.
Kyler, listen, man. Stop blaming the media for things you did. The media said, no, the media didn't do your contract. Yes. I mean, listen, in the world of contract creativity, I have never heard that before. Kevin, have you ever heard?
No.
Listen, you better be watching film. Yeah. I do watch film. Liar. We know you haven't. We saw somebody followed you home. You got out your car and you did not take the DVD.
You did not take the iPad.
I watched him in my car. You're a liar.
What was that? Wasn't that the famous thing I heard somebody talking about earlier this week? The Jamarcus Russell.
Jamarcus Russell.
Did you watch those? You watch your game tape? I did. Those DVDs we gave you? Oh yeah, I watched all of them. You watched all of them?
You watched them?
Because they're blank.
Because what did
we gave you? We gave you blank ones.
I saw the Invisible Team versus the other Invisible Team. It was a great game.
I would love to see that.
I'm
Cliff Kingsbury addressing the media. Kyler Murray will not be playing. He did not do his homework. He did not eat his vegetables. Still wanted dessert, and so we sent him to his room, and so he is out.
Kyler,
next question.
Kyler, did you watch the tape? Yes. What was on it? Man,
and he sassed his mom.
My Wi-Fi was messing up in my car.
It's like that.
I'm just saying, man. Like this is. Come on, people. We got to be better. You make too much money for people to make you do, I don't know, your job.
Are we going to sit there with a stopwatch? And time. 4 hours this week. Good job.
Kyler.
Which, as you know, like you said, like 4 hours is a ridiculously low threshold. Right? I mean, for watching a game.
Like, listen, I'm not counting Kyler Murray. You got a bunch of cheese. Okay. Go in your room. Lay in your bed. Put it in.
Right, but if I give you $200 million, the least I can expect you to do is watch a little game.
And that's what I'm saying.
The very least.
Do you go, oh, God, I made it. 4 hours? Really?
Yes.
You can break that up during the week. Kyler. All I'm saying is, Kevin, look at Kyler Murray first part of the year. Look at Kyler Murray second part of the year. And I don't want to hear this, how dynamic I am as a player.
All right, let's take another quick phone call, then we'll step aside. We've got Bill. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Ray. Ray, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, guys. How are y'all doing?
Hey, we're doing good.
Good. Y'all got me dying over here laughing about this Kyler Murray stuff. I got to say, all great points, And you sit there and you wonder, it's like, what do you really have to do this with this guy? Because he's not the only one I'm calling into question at this point. I'm also calling the organization into question. You just gave this dude $230 million. Okay? You gave him $230 million, and this is what you have to put in the what kind of organization are you running?
I agree, Ray. Ray, I agree. I think it looks bad on everybody. One, you're giving me $200 million with a caveat that I do the bare minimum. Basically, I mean, I've talked with Ben in 4 hours. That could get done on a Monday afternoon. Bare minimum. And as you said, what if I'm an organization and I think I have to put that in the contract? Like, I shouldn't be giving you the money if I don't think you're going to put the work in.
Well, exactly. And then you're going to say, okay, so did you read it? Yeah. Did you watch it? Yeah. But did he freaking understand it? What results are you getting? I mean, is there something else in here we don't know about that says, okay, first, we're going to make him read and do this stuff. And then second, if we don't get X results on the field, we're going to void the contract? Because I seriously doubt that's in there. You know? I mean, that's like saying, well, did you read your homework? Yeah. And then they go and they fail the test. Oh, you can't do anything to me now. I read it.
Ray, to me, this comes down to something very simple. They knew that Kyler Murray was going to be the guy they were going to have to give the contract to. And sometimes you always got to remember, if you embarrass us as an organization, we will embarrass you. Because no matter what, we're going to be the Arizona Cardinals with or without Kyler Murray. So with all the stuff he did last year, acting, not really, acting more of his shoe size than acting his age. And it was like, well, dude, you're going to be our franchise leader, and you don't even watch tape. So they got the last laugh. They got the last laugh and saying, yeah, because they were going to have to pay him. That's just the going rate for a quarterback now. I mean, Deshaun Watson getting money, and we ain't seen him in 2 years, and he's getting this type of money. Kyler Murray realized real quick, hey, man, you bite the hand that feeds you, man. We gonna give you the money, but now your reputation is on the line. So now if we lose, we got the best built-in excuse there is. We got a guy that won't even go home and watch film. That's like, a baseball player that won't, go home and work on his swing. This stuff is crazy. I ain't never heard anything like this.
No, they got to finish it off right, though, with this right here. This is the unspoken part of the contract. And if you mess up, we are going to feed everything to the media. Everything.
100%, Ray. Appreciate the phone call. Thank you so much. Appreciate the phone. It's so true. I saw that, Ben. That was my first response was, as a professional athlete and as an organization, the fact that even made the light of day is embarrassing for everybody, right? I mean, like you said, a perfect analogy.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, like I guarantee you the Lakers gave money to Kobe and didn't say, hey, man, can you shoot after practice?
I mean, you might
Right?
say that,
Yeah, like, you think you can throw up a few more?
They might say, can you come in here like 6 instead of 5?
Yeah. Hey,
because we got to be here.
Yeah, the guy that locks it up at night, he wants to go home.
Yeah, Kobe,
so it's like,
can we just give you a key, bro? Because what I'm saying is, Kevin, that's ridiculous, right? Like,
surely.
Like, no matter what, that should have never got out. Like, the greatest thing you can say as a professional athlete, you did not embarrass the organization you played for, and nothing about you came out. Like, think about that. They got stuff on all of us. Every last one of us. The problem is, what they got on me has nothing to do with my contract. Nothing. Hey, Ben, what? Hey, you think of your contract, whatever, like, I don't know, you could, like, know what the hell you're doing? Could you, like, study your playbook? Kevin, once again, we live in a time to where, right, you have to make it known that people don't do what's built into just being a football player. Watching film is a part. They didn't say, dude, you got to watch 10 hours, dude. You got to watch at least 4. It's 24 hours a day.
But like
the game was on Sunday.
But like, but just for clarity, like Peyton Manning probably watched that much on the ride back from an away game, right?
Watches film now, and he doesn't even play.
That's what I'm saying.
Like you start asking yourself though, what separates the good from the great? It's in the details. It's in the little things. When Tom Brady says, hey, man, I don't look at anything as mundane. Whatever I did to get into this league is going to take that and more to even stay in this league, and I want to take it to another level. So whatever I got to do, going through drills, going through individual, watching tape, watching film, Kyler Murray says, hey, man, I got an unorthodox style. No, the hell you don't. They figure you out, and you can't figure them out because you don't know what they do. When they go into a certain defense, you look at this. All right. Come on, Kyler, like audible out. Blue 42, audible out. They got one more guy that we can block. No, man, no. I can run. And like I say, Kevin, once that perception is out there, you're gonna spend the rest of your career trying to change it, and that may never happen.
As Ray said, every time you lose, did you watch enough film this week? And that's an unfortunate thing. We got more to come. It's 3 and Out, Southern Pigskin Radio Network. Good to have you back here. It is 3 and Out. I'm Kevin Thomas. He is Ben Troop. Thanks for making us a part of your day as the Atlanta Falcons back at it. We talked a lot about that NFL right around the corner and the college football season, Ben, right around the corner. We kind of joked earlier about the week 0 games, like the big build up to college football. Like, just listen to this. This is the difference between week 0, what we get is the comeback to college football, versus the actual week 1. Week 0, we've waited all off season. College football is back. Vandy at Hawaii, Nebraska, Northwestern, Wyoming, Illinois, Duquesne, Florida State, Charlotte, FAU, UTEP, North Texas. Those are the headliners, baby. Welcome back, college football. Or you could just block all that from your mind as best you can and wait one more week. You get Pitt, West Virginia, Oregon, Georgia. North Carolina actually goes to App State, Utah at Florida, Notre Dame, Ohio State. That is what an opening weekend of college football should look like.
Kevin, when we start asking like why certain commissioners, aka Greg Sankey, is the way he is, right? College football comes down to programming. It comes down to visibility. And hey, it's a blind taste test every Saturday. It's the buffet is called college football. You got access to every last team and game. What are you picking? If the Big Ten best game needs help from a team in the ACC to give them the best game all year and it's week 0, people say, what about Ohio State, Michigan? I get it. I give you that. I give you that. But Notre Dame, once again, Kevin Warren think he's slick. See, Kevin Warren knew if I can get Notre Dame to commit to us, even if they're not going to come in this year, that looks like a Big Ten game. First game of the year. No, because Notre Dame understands its worth. But you are right, Kevin. Everybody wants to be a headliner. That don't mean you are a headliner. And I'm sorry. Alabama got teams saying, hell no, I don't want to play them first game. No, I don't want to play them at all. Like, everybody get it. Because think about it, that's a chance to get at Alabama right first game of the year.
Yeah, if you're going to get them, that's to me the best time.
Listen, let me show you how serious playing Alabama first game of the year is. Remember when DeAndre Francois and
That's true.
was balling? And they call it the greatest opener of all time.
Yeah.
Right? They call it the GOAT, greatest opener of all time.
Florida State hasn't been the same since.
DeAndre Francois gets hurt, tears his ACL, never to be seen from or heard from again. Guess who was the coach of that team? Jimbo. Guess what Jimbo is, right? In the SEC.
Right?
Right? Playing against who? Nick Saban, getting that cheese. I'm just saying, Kevin, right, wrong, indifferent, right? We like certain brands for certain reasons. We like certain teams for certain reasons. But if you had your shot to pick, Kevin, you wake up, you go, just say, my friend got one of these in his crib. He got like 5 or 6 TVs. Like, I said, boy, this is nice. I ain't getting all this, but he got it. And he goes, but what I do is I break the TV up into 4s. And I say, what you looking at? He said, well, I have to analyze them. He goes, well, the problem is there are certain teams I have to see because of my job, and there are certain teams I will not miss seeing because I like them. Think about that.
Sure.
I got to see them because of my job, but I ain't missing them over there. That's what SEC football is, whether you like it or not. It's must see. I'm not going to miss it, whether you like it or not, whether you root for them or not. I'm not saying that they're the only conference like that. They're not the only teams like that. And that's what Greg Sankey has. Greg Sankey says, look, man, my bottom feeder team can go to Hawaii and no one's going to say a word, right? They can go out there for week 0. Right, cool. Publicity, boom. They're not my headliners. Because, Kevin, you always say this. What makes a conference, man? Top to bottom. Right, top to bottom.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you start calling them out. All right, Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, LSU, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. Think about this. Ohio State, Michigan State, Penn State, Wisconsin, Nebraska. It's just all you whoop, whoop. whether you like it or not. So I get it, Kevin. Week
Start
0
sliding down from there, yeah.
But week 1, you watch the publicity for week 0, and as soon as Vanderbilt, Hawaii are done.
Yeah, when that's over.
Week 0 is officially,
yeah.
At 2:00 in the morning on that Tuesday or whatever. Watch what happens. Alabama, Bryce Young, Because that's what happens, right? When Tampa is playing, you know, New Orleans, they're gonna say Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers leads his Bucks to, you know, Jameis Winston or whomever. They're
Right.
gonna say Vanderbilt versus Hawaii. Right? Not because they don't
Stay
got
up
players,
late.
Not because stay up late.
Drink extra coffee as the Commodores take on the Warriors
Listen, here it
at
is.
1 o'clock in the morning
If
Eastern
you're a
time.
if you're a boxer, people go, hey man, how do I know I'm a headliner? Has Michael Buffer came and said, yeah, nope. I ain't never heard Michael Buffer. No. Michael Buffer gonna do it. Yeah. He ain't gonna do it when you out there. Like you're on the card, but you're not the headliner. And then Michael Buffer had his brother go, it's time.
Oh, he does.
Like,
That's his brother, but yeah.
his brother wanted to go, it's time.
Yeah. I don't think you can legally say the other one because he's got it trademarked. You know
Yeah,
that?
no. You know what's crazy about that? Which we don't got time to get into it. Michael Buffer's brother didn't know that Michael Buffer was his brother.
Yeah, that was
and mind you, I'm like, have you seen him and you? Y'all like kind of look alike. And he goes, isn't it crazy? I mean, I got this dude. He goes, yeah, yeah, let's get ready to run. But you go, it's time. Y'all just walk around yelling.
Yeah.
And you see, I like y'all.
Oh, yeah. That's
similar
great
career
stuff.
paths.
Yeah, it's great stuff.
And that's worth a lot of cheese, by the way.
Oh, it is big time. We got a lot more to come. Here it is, 3 and Out. John Shipley joins us. Jaguar Report next on 3 and Out. Kevin Thomas, Ben Troop, thanks for making us a part of your day. The NFL training camps are back at it. And the Jaguars, no different, Ben. A lot of question marks about this Jaguars team. We're efforting John Shipley, Jaguar Report, to join us. But Trevor Lawrence, obviously going to receive a lot of scrutiny. One, you were the number one pick 2 years ago. Two, you're done with Urban Meyer. You were with Doug Peterson, who, as we kind of joke, has worked miracles. Won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles. Right? He won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles. What can he do with a talent that people, I think, pretty much across the board believe is better than Nick Foles in Trevor Lawrence? How do you think we see that development from what a lot of people think was kind of a wasted rookie season at quarterback?
Well, Kevin, we oh man, stability. I think that the one thing that Trevor Lawrence does not lack is confidence and talent. He has both. That's the hardest thing. The talent part has never ever been the key. It's the confidence. Kevin, we knew that he's going to have to learn how to deal with losing. He's never lost in his life. Didn't lose in high school. Didn't lose in college. He knew going to the number one going to a team like the Jaguars, he was possibly going to be losing some games. He's proven he's not a front runner. He's proven to be a team player, going to bat last year for James Robinson. He's proven to be a guy that's durable, fighting, scratching, and clawing to get back into the game. Last year, I just think that sometimes, we just got to see. So for me, I'm looking forward to it. I think what happens is he just has to be a guy that we got to give him a shot because they gave him weapons, tight end, healthy running back. That's just from the draft,
Right.
Two receivers to go along with Marvin Jones, LaVisca Chenault, a slot guy that you do a lot with, and a running game. Now we just got to wait and see.
Yeah, I think that is the part that when you read some of the missives coming out about early training camp, then it is okay. Trevor Lawrence looks like it's Trevor Lawrence, and he's got a lot of potential. Travis Etienne looks like he is back and ready to produce. Where's the rest of the playmakers? Where's the rest of the guys that are going to step up? Who else is going to be somebody that the defense goes, we probably need to pay attention over here, and that's obviously a problem. And I don't know if you're going to find that out in training camp, as you said, Ben, when you're going up against, hey, receivers, we're going to jam you at the line a little bit and try to wrestle for the ball, but we're not going to play like you're going to see, come game time when we're going to be trying to come up and dislodge you from the ball. Who steps up there? I think Etienne is fascinating.
Yeah.
But if you're telling me, I don't care who you are, if you're telling me your best option on any football team is to dump it off to the running back in the passing game, that's not good. Tell me how that worked out in Atlanta last year, right? If you look at it and say, hey, my best option is to drop back and dump it to my running back, that's only going to take you so far.
Yeah. Kevin, for my money, I think it's going to be Evan Ingram. Excuse me, I apologize. I think that sometimes when you start talking about like
even
these
Ben's
playmakers,
choked up over
I always love the fact that the tight end get a chance to go out there and because Kevin, the tight end position is the one position that's kind of been lackluster, and I don't know who had the best tight ends in the NFL. I know that's probably Kansas City. The worst was definitely coming out of Jacksonville.
We have found John Shipley, Jaguar Report on SI, joins us here on 3 and Out. John, welcome. How are you?
Hey, doing great. Sorry about that, guys.
Hey, that's all right. Ben and I were just talking about Jacksonville, and I know you had a kind of a thought there from camp. Travis Etienne, who a lot of folks have talked about, looks good, but where's the rest of the weapons? So you're there every day following this team. Where are the weapons there for Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah, no, I think that's the primary question after the first few days of camp is, who else other than Travis Etienne is going to step up? They obviously made some big additions in free agency, and Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Evan Ingram, all out receiver and tight end, but none of those guys has consistently stood out, throughout the camp. I'd say Kirk has definitely been the most impressive of the three, but he's been far from dominant or anything like that. So I think at this point, the Jaguar skill positions, they look improved from last year, but I'm not sure if they look any better than, maybe say average. I'm not sure they have the skill group that can really scare teams right now.
John, when you think about a guy like Christian Kirk, who kind of set off alarms with everybody in free agency because of the deal, that he got. You talk about Zay Jones, talk about Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram has been a starter. Christian Kirk has been a third, he's been in a second or third receiver. None of these guys have been headliners. They getting paid like headliners, but you got to play, above kind of like what you're getting paid right now, especially with your Christian Kirk. You say he hasn't looked the part. Do you think it's going to be by, you think it's going to be like as a group they're going to have to be well, or do you think somebody can take like that alpha dog role and say, I'm going to be that guy in this passing offense?
I think right now, just knowing the kind of offense they have and the players that they have in that room, that it's more likely they have the kind of offense where, you'll never really know who the primary guy is. It's always going to be somebody with the hot hand or somebody on that specific day. I'm not sure there's going to be, any receiver on the team who is really commanding of a high volume of targets. I would guess that Kirk leads them in targets just because, the one thing he's done well, in training camp, and one thing he's done a lot is, work the underneath part of the field. He looks like he's going to be their primary, third down conversion guy, the guy they go to when they need a catch, no matter what, in high leverage situations. But I'm not sure he's going to be a guy who's just taking targets all over the place week in and week out. And through the first couple of days of training camp, it definitely does look like they are missing that kind of alpha presence, that receiver.
John Shipley, Jaguar Report, joining us here on 3 Down. And John, Trevor Lawrence going into year 2. I don't know how you count last year under Urban Meyer, but what do you see from him with Doug Peterson? Is this a guy that, given all the distractions on and off the field last year, could take a huge step forward in quarterback development?
No, I think the potential is definitely there for him to have that second-year leap. I think when you look at a lot of the good young quarterbacks in the NFL, most of them you saw, in the second year is really when they start to come into their own, start to blossom. And I think he has a chance to be, the next person in the long line of those guys. He obviously has a lot to prove after last year. Last year, like you said, it's hard to count it with the Urban Meyer year, but there were also games and instances where, Lawrence could have been better himself. And I think he entered this offseason knowing that. So far, through camp, he had a perfect day on Tuesday. He was 18 of 18 in team drills. He was absolutely flawless. But that was, of course, very early in training camp. Defensive backs aren't going as intense as they were, yesterday or even today. I'd say even yesterday he looked sharp, but today he was 6 of 16 in the red zone. He had a couple of touchdowns. He had 3 touchdowns, but he also had an interception and a few passes that, were a bit high of the receivers. So there are definitely some improvements that he's shown throughout the spring and through this period, but there are also some areas he needs to improve, and the red zone's a big one of those.
John, with so much talk about the offense, rightfully so. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, Zay Jones, Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram. No one's really talking about the defense. And I know that a guy like Travon Walker, right, wrong, and different, and when you're the number 1 overall pick, people consider you, the best player in this recent draft. I know that he's going to have to, be Josh Allen's shadow because he's going to have to learn the ropes really, really quickly. He's going to play. How has he looked? I know it's sample size this early in camp, but how has he looked?
Yeah, no, you put it perfectly when you said, he's going to be Josh Allen's shadow. I remember when Josh Allen was a rookie, it seemed like he followed Calais Campbell, at every single drill, every part, after and before the game. And it really looks like so far that Allen and Walker have that same kind of relationship. Allen's really embraced being that kind of veteran mentor. And it's hard to find them at any point in practice where they're not together, they're not learning from each other, and they're not helping each other improve. So I think he's definitely going to have that kind of veteran leadership role for Walker. And I think it's important for Walker to have that kind of veteran to show him the ropes because, like you said, he's going to play a lot. They don't take a guy at number 1 overall, even if he is a guy who's seen as like kind of a long-term prospect. They don't take him at number 1 overall and not expect him to play and contribute right away. So he's going to play a lot. He's going to be asked to produce right away. And if he continues working alongside Allen, somebody who was very productive as a rookie, he might be on his way to doing that.
You look at the defense as a whole, John. How good do you think that unit can be?
I think it definitely has its potential. They added players at every level of defense. They added Walker at along the edge, Foley Fatukasi along the defensive line, Devin Lloyd, Chad Muma, Forsade Oluokun at inside linebacker, and then, of course, Darius Williams in the secondary. So the investments are there. There's also the development of some players that, if they take place, will really help the defense elevate. Tyson Campbell, a second-year player out of Georgia, 33rd overall pick last year. He had a tough start to his rookie season, but then ended up finishing really strong, showed a ton of potential. And then through camp, he's been fantastic. He had 2 pass breakups yesterday. He had another nice, really good rep against Zay Jones in the red zone today, where he just basically pinned him to the sideline and erased him on the throw to the corner of the end zone. So I think the potential is definitely there for the defense to, be a top 15 or so unit and take a leap. It's just there is some projection involved because they have a first year coordinator in Mike Caldwell. And there are some areas where the depth is maybe a little bit shaky, such as that outside linebacker.
John, we're a year removed from just, chaos would be putting it lightly when you talk about everything that was going on with the Jaguars team, from Urban Meyer, Chris Doyle, Tim Tebow, the front office, just trying to, Doug Peterson. He could have been the biggest addition of the offseason that's not a player. Talk about just his calm and effect, understanding that, letting these guys understand that these guys are going to get asked about Urban Meyer until they're not asked about it anymore, being able to have a Super Bowl under his belt and to be able to have taken another franchise that we had never seen win a Super Bowl. I know he got a much harder task with Jacksonville, but talk about, just his arrival and how much he's really made it feel like a professional atmosphere.
Yeah, no, I think you're right on the money. I think, when you listen to some of the Jaguars players the last couple of days, Trevor Lawrence, Josh Allen, and you listen to them talking about what Doug Peterson has brought, compared to what they have last year, I think it's a really night and day difference. Josh Allen put it best when he said that he feels like he's now in a professional locker room where the head coach treats them like grown men. And Trevor Lawrence said the other day that Doug Peterson's a head coach who, he really sets the standard, and you don't have to worry about him going off, really the wayward path because, he's setting the standard for how to act, on and off the field. So I think it's a night and day difference. I think you can tell that, players have more energy to them and they're happier. I think the coaching staff's happier. And I think even, not Jaguars, personnel, football ops, employees, that kind of thing, who aren't even players, I think they're happy. I think just a general vibe around training camp this year is much different compared to this point last year.
John Shipley, Jaguar reporter, our guest here on 3 and Out. John, appreciate the time. Thanks so much.
Hey, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
John Shipley joining us here. This is 3 and Out on the Southern Pigskin Radio Network. Good to have you back here on 3 and Out. Appreciate John Shipley joining us as training camp well underway there in Jacksonville. The Falcons getting back and going. Appreciate D. Orlando Ledbetter joining us on the show as well as kind of got the latest and the greatest, if you will, from Flowery Branch.
Kevin, it's gonna be a whirlwind for the Jaguars and the Falcons. We're not gonna have a bird's eye view, but we're gonna definitely be able to know what's going on from day to day. And one day, Trevor Lawrence, he can't miss. Next day, well, it kind of didn't have the same practice he had the day before. Marcus Mariota got announced a starter up, trying to jump the gun a little bit. Desmond Ridder, kind of feeling a certain type of way. We'll see.
Quick question. We got 1 minute. Do you worry more about a quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, good potential, no weapons, versus Marcus Mariota, who you think has weapons, but you're kind of maybe at a ceiling?
Always going to be the guy that's going to be the future. It's always going to be because the thing about Marcus Mariota, nothing against him, he could have been anybody.
If Trevor Lawrence had Atlanta's talent, how would you, at the skill position, would you think he would do better?
Yeah.
No, because obviously ETN I think is better than anything Falcons probably have at running back at this point. But but the receivers I think might be better for.
I mean Kyle Pitts, and then now Drake London, because in a sense Drake London, Trevor Lawrence, yes. Unfortunately, Marcus Mariota has those guys. We'll see what he can do with them.
Well, we'll keep an eye on what's happening at Flowery Branch. No Braves tonight. They're back tomorrow. Back at it. We'll have it for you then. This is 3 and Out all across the Southern Pigskin Radio Network.